This Sunday is Stewardship Sunday, and I know when we say that, you all do an inward groan, and I appreciate you not doing it as an outward groan. But it's an important Sunday in the life of our church as we think about and talk about the ways God has been at work in us and through us, and how God might continue to do that. I have preached some pretty bad stewardship sermons that have unfortunately relied on shame and guilt and kind of saying the church needs your money. The church doesn't need your money. God's going to take care of us. But we get to partner with God in how God does that. And so today, Tim and I want to have a conversation with you about stewardship. And it's our hope that in this conversation, you will hear our heart. You'll hear our heart for God's kingdom. You'll hear our heart for this church and for the work that God's going to continue to do in this church. And it's our hope that this conversation will be a celebration of God's faithfulness that continues to be lived out in us and through us. I am so proud to be a pastor of this church. I'm proud of the ways that we are open. I'm proud of the ways that we're constantly finding new ways to reach new people. I'm proud of the ministry and mission that happens here. I know Tim is as well. And we want to share that with you today so that we can continue to be the people God's called us to be. So Tim, I'll start, ask you the question, why is it important for you and Reva to give on a regular basis?
We don't give because the church or whatever institution that we support needs us. We give because of an inward need in us to give, to set aside a portion, which we believe is a tithe, a tenth. And we give that because that's what we feel is a part of the overwhelming blessing that God gives us. We find, honestly, Matt, that we can live more faithfully on 90% than we can on 100. We believe that that gift enables us to be true to the very nature of what God has created us to be. And so Reva and I all our life have trusted, that's Reva's word, trusted that God's going to take care of us. What about you and Beth?
Beth and I have been committed to giving since we've been married, but for me, at least, the commitment has gone on longer than that. When I was 5, my parents started to give me an allowance. They gave me $1.25, 5 quarters every week. And one of those quarters went into a jar that I saved, and one of those quarters went into a jar that I gave back to the church, and 3 of those quarters went to buying penny candy at the local kind of corner store because that's what I did with it. I didn't realize at that point that I was actually giving 20%, right? So I was above and beyond, but it's always been kind of something that was instilled in me from when I was little, that that's what you do. And parents will tell you what, if you're not instilling in your kids right now that generosity matters, it's a good time to start. For us, giving is a response to God's faithfulness to us. And it is a countercultural activity to boldly say, we trust that God's going to provide for us, so much so that we're willing to give away some of our money. We're not going to hoard it, we're not going to hold on to it, but we believe that God has provided and will continue to provide.
What are the ministries of this church that you are most excited about?
We sat down to talk this week, and as we talked about this question, there were tens of things we could list. I'm really excited, though, about the college ministry. I don't know if you realize what a rarity it is to have the number of college students involved in the life of this church that we do. When I talk to my colleagues in terms of how many students we have, and I say we have 150 to 200 students, they drop their jaws because it is a surprising and shocking thing. I love to think about this church as a sending church, where we spend 4 years investing, discipling, caring for students, and then we send them to different parts of the country, to different parts of the globe, to live out their faith in a real way. I'm thankful for the ways that you care for them and for the ways that you offer them food and brunch and opportunities. I'm thankful for them because of the many ministries that they have among us. One of them is the mentoring program. Our middle school mentoring program is doing amazing things. This week, one of the students that's part of that posted on Instagram, mentoring is easily the best part about my week. It has taught me so much and has completely changed the course of my life. I also get to meet some pretty amazing people through it and couldn't be more thankful for them and this program. What a powerful witness and powerful statement. Thank you to our students. Thank you to you for providing those opportunities. What are you excited about that's happening in the life of the church, Tim?
Well, I'm grateful that Suncrest is a congregation that reaches out beyond itself. You know, when the floods hit our state over a year ago, people began to give generously, and since that time, our church has raised over $20,000 above and beyond everything else we did to help people who've been flooded and lost their homes. And I'm so excited today. I didn't know this was going to happen, but one of those families just happens to be with us today here in church. Nick and Jasmine and their family are from Clendenin. And Nick, I saw your house. Jasmine, I saw it. It was how much water was in your house?
About 3 feet.
About 3 feet of water. And it had to be completely gutted. We're so sorry for that devastation that hit you and so many others in the Clendenin area down there. And so people from Avery Methodist Church and Suncrest Methodist Church and several churches took teams down there, and we took those dollars that were given by this congregation, and we tried to help as many people as we could first get their houses cleaned out, and then we started to help a few families because we concentrated our efforts, and Nick and Jasmine, you were one of those families, and there was a kitchen that needed to be completely restored, and there was bedrooms and so forth, and a lot of people worked. And I know you came today for one thing. You wanted to say one thing. Stand up, Nick. You wanted to tell the congregation one thing, and I'm just going to give you a chance to do that right now.
I just want to say thank you for helping us.
Matt, I'm just so excited that our church continues to reach out and help people one by one. In 100 West Virginia, we've been doing the same thing. And not everybody can go. Not everybody has skills that they can help. But some people support financially, and some people support with prayers, and some people go and drive nails. And we just are grateful for all of those potential opportunities. Yeah. Matt, where do you see Suncrest 5 years from now?
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time this week thinking about kind of what's my hope for us. The dream that I keep coming back to is this desire to see people who are not like us find faith in Jesus. We are dealing with a generation right now that's my age and younger who don't have any church residue. It's amazing to think that there are folks in their 20s and 30s who have never walked in the door of a church. And they might not, because there's something about this institution that scares them or makes them uncertain, or maybe they've had an experience where they've been hurt before. There's lots of times where I say, I'm sorry, and I hope you'll give Jesus a second chance, and I hope you'll give me a second chance. So the dream I have for us is to launch a satellite campus, a new place for new people, that would reach people that are a different part of our community, but that would reach people who look different than we do. That would provide a space that's not in a church to experience worship and communion and the sacraments and the grace of God, and I want you to pray for that with me, because I think that that's something that God's called us to be about as we connect and reach new people in new and exciting ways. Tim, what about you? What's your hope for this church in the next 5 years?
I want to continue to see us reach out to the community. I want us to continue to serve the children downstairs in our child care program. I want to see us continue to have programs for children and youth and create opportunities for their lives to be shaped by those. I want us to continue to find ways to respond to the substance abuse crisis. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited about the substance abuse task force that's working to come up with lay opportunities for people to provide support to people who are going through addiction at this time. But you've heard me say that the day that we turn in upon ourselves is the day that we're going to die. Yep. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, it's true. I have seen it. I've witnessed it all across our state. United Methodist churches who turn in on themselves and only serve themselves don't live very long. Yep. God put us here to go outward and to reach out and to touch people's lives, not just on Sunday morning through worship and the praise and the prayers and the quilts, but to also go beyond. And I'm excited about us continuing to go beyond with the various programs of our church. One of the things you heard Mark talk about the Thanksgiving food baskets, and that's a wonderful program that we do here. And we have depended in the past on special gifts to make that happen. In fact, I'm ashamed to tell you that over a course of number of years, our church has gotten so focused on special gifts that we were monitoring 100 special funds. And it was so bad and it's so good, and I know that sounds like a contradiction, that we weren't having enough funds to do the ongoing things that the church needs to do every day, every week, every month. And so the One Fund, a brand new idea, simply says that next year the food baskets and the respite care and the mentoring program and the teen extreme camp that all depended on special funds is now going to be rolled into the One Fund. And we're going to give to make all of those things happen and be a blessing to our community. I want that to be successful, Pastor Matt, because I believe it's the way we can be the strongest and the most unified in our outreach. One fund for all the ministries that our church wants to do, and I'm praying that that will be the case. So as we close this morning and want to say to everyone, please prayerfully consider your gifts. I tell couples who come for weddings all the time, I said, whatever you do, as you start your life together as a husband and wife, don't spend all your resources on yourself. Set aside some portion of your resources to help other people, because you must maintain a sense of balance in your life. And so we're saying that to you today, Pastor Matt and I, from our own experience, from our own dreams and vision. We're saying, please help us together as one continue to go forward, making a difference for the sake of Christ.